All right, happy Thursday night, everybody. Welcome on into the home studios. We got a lot going on here. It's overrated, underrated, rated right Thursday. Songs about Texas. We got Texas Tech baseball coming up tomorrow. Not late in the afternoon. No, 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 no. We're going to get going early with the doubleheader out there at North Carolina, taking on the I don't know, sixth ranked team. Whichever poll you want to. They're a top 10 ranked team. First time Tech's done that on the road since 1995 at Arizona State. We're going to look at that tonight, deep dive on that. And then Texas Tech men's basketball surviving last night, a double overtime thriller against Arizona State. What did we see last night? Defense optional for the Red Raiders, but they won. We'll get your thoughts on all of that. And later on in the program, Matt Grissom will join us from College Baseball Insiders. We'll do a deep dive on the national scene. Yes, we will. We'll take a look at that. We'll take a look at the Big 12, and he'll give us his thoughts on Texas Tech and North Carolina. We're just hoping Tech and North Carolina get a chance to get at least 2 games in tomorrow, and then we'll go from there. All right, you guys know what to do. The early arrivals, let us know the audio is good, the video is good. Give us thumbs up, whether you are on X, whether you are on YouTube, whether you are on Facebook Live. Give us thumbs up, share it with your friends, and we get rocking and rolling from there. It's really easy to do. All right, I'm serious. I'm not kidding. It's not hard to do. In three, in two. Good evening, West Texans, all you good, fine, friendly folks out there who wish you were. I'm Ryan Hyatt, theraiderland.com. You started your day there today. You know the question of the day: overrated, underrated, rated right. Texas songs and songs about Texas. The ones that are good, the ones that are bad, the ones that are rated just right. We got basketball, we got everything else. Brought to you tonight and all the communication by United Supermarkets and Market Street. There's one supermarket that puts their name on things at Texas Tech. There's one that puts their name in Lubbock and then sends your money downstate. I don't know, to places like Austin. Also by South Plains College, SBC, the road to Raiderland runs through Levelland. A lot of great Red Raiders started off as great Texans. Maybe you're doing continuing education. You want to take some classes that will make you a little bit better in your whole world. That's good. Maybe you're just starting your college education. Great place to start. A lot of great Red Raiders started off as great Texans, and then maybe just summer school and stuff like that. Hey, parents, if you've got a college age child, they're not children at that, right? Well, you know what I mean. Got a college student in your life around West Texas, check out South Plains College. And by Middleton and Son, the ultimate gold standard realtors farm and ranch, not just West Texas, Texas, Oklahoma, New Mexico, Colorado, you name it, the gold standard. So what I'm telling you, if you're looking at buying a ranch property or a farm property, or maybe you're going to put one of yours on the market, you need to make one call. Middleton and Son in Lubbock, Texas. There's only one company that could broker the 4-6s deal with that Taylor Sheridan dude in the room, and that would be Middleton and Son. All right, let's get it going tonight. What's on your mind? Texas Tech basketball last night. What did we see? What kind of game did we watch last night? Were there warning signs, or was it a great sign that you can come out kind of flat, play zero defense, go to double overtime, and win? You tell me. All right. The show tonight, a lot of your comments, a lot of your questions. What are we going to do? Jacob or Jakob or Jakob, baseball. And then he says, thank you. I assume he's thanking us for talking a lot of baseball tonight. And we will. The pitching rotation is set for Texas Tech. Siebert, then Hewer for the Red Raiders. The USF transfer, and then Mac Hewer from last year. Fake Natalie Maines, who could be the real Natalie Maines for all we know. Dear Hyatt, how are you? I'm fine. Why can't fans attend the game and support this team? And Grant, there were so many empty seats last night. Are West Texans that soft they couldn't take cold weather? How do fans show up at Allen Fieldhouse for every home game? Thank you for the sports you give us. I give you the sports. I told you yesterday it was going to be a light crowd, and it was still a good crowd. There's probably still 8,000 or 9,000 in the house. Wasn't sold out. Yeah, that's the reality of college basketball. It was crappy weather. There was the potential for icing and everything else. And a lot of people at an 8 o'clock game going home at 10:30 are going to stay home. And if you want to compare it to Kansas and multiple national championships and what they do there in Lawrence, that's fine. You can do that. I'm never going to berate the fans. I'm never going to say anything. And I will say this, any coaches that do that and blame the fans for the environment in a gym when they're just getting scorched defensively, you're doing dumb things. Don't say that. So I'm never going to blame the fans for what's going on, nor should anybody else. Craig, the talking box is on. Fact, it is. Jeff chiming in on YouTube. We got Facebook. We got Twitter X tonight. We got YouTube going. All of it brought to you by United Supermarkets and Market Street. This game will be big in March when having to deal with adversity. Been there, done that. Yeah. So this is the game you played New Year's Eve against UCF and you lost. Last night you played it. Same game, no defense. Just letting them score at will. You couldn't get will out of the game, and you win the game. That's an improvement. We knew this game was out there, right? We talked about this about a week ago that when we were talking about can Tech win the Big 12? Tech could win the Big 12. But you've got to survive a crap game. Where is it? Now, the game at Arizona was a crap game, but it was against a good team. It didn't hurt you. Last night, all you had to do was win. The only thing you had to do last night was win. It's reflected today in the nitty-gritties, in the numbers, Hoops HD, and Brackettville.wordpress. All you had to do was win last night. A lot of times, though, teams don't win on that night. Tech did, you know. Alan is on YouTube. That's a channel we're on. Ryan Hyatt's Raiderland on YouTube. Everybody on YouTube, please hit like. Everybody who watches on YouTube, hit like and then share it. And if you can share that and grow it, we're at like 450 right now. When we go over 500, boom, it explodes on YouTube. And it'll be like what we've got on Twitter X with we're cruising up on like 7,500, 8,000 followers on our Twitter channel. We'd love to have more. And then thousands on Facebook. Facebook, always good. The defense last night was an abomination to the Lord. Pastors all over West Texas have preached on that kind of backsliding. Nicely done. I'll ask again, what did you see? What did you take away from the game last night? Did it make you more confident, less confident in this team going forward? All right, you tell me. Chris, to be fair, the USA was more full than TCU game that preceded than by leaps and bounds. Me and my wife were talking about that. That, you know, just nobody there. And they were doing tight shots around trying to make it look like, and then you go, oh yeah, nobody's there. Metroplex, like 8 million people, whatever they got there. Nobody gives a damn. Nobody cares. Craig says, I saw a team that knew how to dig deep down and find a way to win when they had to. You had the tip in. You got it to overtime. You kept going. You kept figuring out things. JT Toppin showing up, big numbers. You had to have it last night. He's got to do that against bad teams, by the way. JT Toppin needs to dominate bad teams. Jeff, having 4 fouls to give down the stretch was huge, allowed them to be aggressive on D and in the OTs. Yeah, you could be aggressive, but also there's that weird thing you're going, oh, crap, what if we got a foul to get them to, the free throw line or everything? There's that weird balance that you want, to be able to play aggressive, and then all of a sudden you're going, holy crap, we can't get them to the line now. The problem, says Alan, for Tech basketball attendance is that they give too many seats to the students. Make the upper deck, that's always on TV, $5 or $10. I guarantee you they will have those sections filled. I disagree. You can't give too many to the students, get them in there. But what you do is at the 5-minute mark, 15-minute mark, first dead ball, first half, let anybody sit where they want to sit in the lower bowl. Move wherever. I don't care if you got a $5 ticket or a $200 ticket. If somebody comes in there and they got a ticket for your seat after that, great, move them. That's the problem to me. And we see that, and we're going to talk about it again with Dan Lawfield in baseball, is that people do a great job of buying tickets. They don't do a great job of going to the games. That's fine, wonderful, but let the people that are there go fill up the lower portions that are on TV. It's not a problem with too many seats to the students. That's not it at all. No, 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 no. You've completely misanalyzed, mischaracterized what takes place at the games. But I would say the same for basketball and baseball. It's really easy to let people come down and be there and make it look good on TV. And then if somebody comes in, one of the high dollar people, yeah, I have my tickets. I've been at Las Brisas, and the steak just took too long to come out tonight. But I'm here now. I would like to sit in my seat. Sit in your freaking seat, dude. That's fine. We'll move you around. Chris, I saw uniforms that needed to be burned and never worn again. Fact. First time, first misstep I've seen with an Adidas uniform, and apparently that's a thing they've done for all the Adidas schools, and they've created this uniform, and it looks like absolute puke dreck. Like, we couldn't afford a good practice uniform. This is all we have. It reminds me of like a rec uniform, like you're at the rec center and they give you a jersey to wear, and we're playing games, and it's red on black, and horrible uniform. Please, Adidas, we don't need your help. We have great uniforms at Texas Tech. You've made and replicated great uniforms at Texas Tech. Don't do that anymore. If that's part of the deal with Adidas, then Kirby Hocutt just needs to do a red line like a governor vetoing with a red line. All right. And we redline that and say, Patrick Mahomes said we don't have to do that. Ludwig Aberg said, or Ludwig Ober said, we don't have to do that. You got a problem with them? Call us back. 10 minutes later, you don't have to wear that crap. I think Texas Tech may have more sway than any other school that Adidas has. Use it, Kirby. Use it. All right. Jeff, the uniform was the basketball equivalent of those silver Mahomes football unis. Horrible. Ugh. Oh, there's some bad ones out there. Hey, coming up in about 10 minutes, Matt Grissom, college baseball insiders, NCAA insiders. He's going to join us. We're going to talk national college baseball, Big 12, Tech and UNC, and tell you about their cool site. He's an awesome dude. You want to hang around for that. Tech baseball tomorrow. If you don't know, doubleheader. It's going to be on ESPN Plus. You watch it live, 11 o'clock our time. Siebert's going to get the start, the transfer in the first game. Hewer's going to get the game after that. We'll wait and see, exactly what the field looks like. By that, I mean, who's where. But it sounds like it's going to be Villanueva at first base, which there are a lot of people saying this is the best defensive first baseman since you had Gutierrez over there, and the dude can hit. After that, Antonelli Savaretti at second base. Dude who's got a start, got a great name, got wheels, can pick it. Tracer Lopez short, TJ Pompey over at third base. Then you got Hughes. After that, you got a couple of different options in center field. We'll see if they roll with Thompson or Johnson on that. And then Damian Bravo probably in right. I think the thing that'll be interesting tomorrow will be see how does the bullpen work tomorrow. Game one, but it's really game 1 and 2. So it's day one. We've got to compress 18 innings into one day. So instead of just 27 outs to get, double it. All right. So what does that mean for guys like Trendon Parrish, Zach Erdman? What's that pin going to look like? And how early do you go to it? And I would say you're probably going to go to it fairly early. It's still going to be cold tomorrow. Damp in North Carolina. The reason they're doing the doubleheader is the weather is going to be absolutely dreck horrible going forward Saturday and Sunday. We're talking like 80% chance of rain, 100% chance of rain on Sunday. Thank goodness they got ahead of this and decided to play 2 tomorrow. I wish they were playing tonight, you know? So it'll be interesting to see how the innings are broken up. Tomorrow's not a typical day one now that you're playing two games. Jeff, underrated, the bluest eyes in Texas, restless heart. That's the overrated, underrated, rated songs, right? About Texas. Define even songs about Texas. Amarillo Highway, overrated, underrated, rated, right? Terry Allen. Bluest eyes in Texas would be on my top 10 list, all time greatest songs to dance to. Midnight Rodeo, Lubbock, Texas, late 80s, early 90s. You know, the games are going to be televised on ESPN Plus. So just like you watch most of the basketball games, they're going to be on ESPN Plus starting tomorrow, 11 o'clock our time. Hey, and a shout out to my friends at Gators Bayou, 90th and Slide. They will have the games on tomorrow. You can watch all the baseball games, ESPN Plus or otherwise, at Gators Bayou, 98th and Slide. Get you a little Cajun food in you, a little cold. Now tomorrow is Valentine's Day, so you can take your wife or your girlfriend out. Don't take both out at the same time. Not good. Not good. Jan, I've had extra. I've had tickets to basketball when weather was awful. Asked people to go. They say it's too bad outside. Really, I've been going a long time. Never had to watch a basketball game outside. It's not so much what the weather is outside watching the game. It's getting home. And I understand people, Jan, who don't want to fight the ice, don't want to fight any potential bad weather. I get it. I truly do. You know, that's part of the deal. I mean, around here, we don't get weather like that. If you've got a chance for it, I can totally understand people saying, I don't want to mess with that. It's on TV, I'll watch it. That's part of the problem. Every game on TV, every game available to watch at home, people are going to take advantage of it. Don't want them to do it. Don't put it on TV. Make them listen to idiot guys like me on radio. I know you always go. We understand. Everybody knows Jan always goes. And that's cool. That's great. But some people don't. Over and underrated, right? Thursday, songs about Texas. What about Pat Green? Songs about Texas? I sing songs about Texas. And jump on that if you want to. Matt Grissom coming up here in just a little bit, talking college baseball with us, getting the season underway with Texas Tech and North Carolina. And then we're still talking about Texas Tech last night against the Sun Devils of Arizona, the Devils of the Sun. The Devils may care. And what exactly did we watch last night? Was it horrible defense? Was it great offense? Did it make you feel better or worse about this team? You tell me. I like to dance like the Dickens at the West Texas Waltz. Joe Ely, good stuff. Alan, I love they're playing a doubleheader tomorrow. A good chance to steal a game at a College World Series contender. Absolutely. They may North Carolina may have one of the best set rotations coming back this year. And if you look at the difference between these two teams going into this series, it's their set rotation proven. In Texas Tech, you got a lot of maybe, you got a lot of could be. I mean, you got a TBA on Sunday or third game, you know, or is it TBA, to be announced, or to be determined in baseball? You know what it is? It's we don't know, and it will depend on who's available and how many innings we had to use out of the pen going into the game. But yeah, if you get one tomorrow, and really I think tomorrow is the only day Tech and North Carolina play. I really think that's going to be the only day they play. Get a game. You got a contender for the ACC championship, which is again Virginia and North Carolina, basically your top teams out of there. We've seen them. We've seen Virginia there in College World Series when Texas Tech has been up there. So we'll see what happens. Last night was just another example that we can play whatever kind of game you need to play. All right, that's a really good. I like that analysis. You know, I like that analysis because in the tournament you will be forced to play different tempos. So what we're saying there is that you got to be able to win a 65 to 60 game, and you may have to win a 85 to 80 game. You didn't do that against UCF. You did it last night. All right. TBA is a 74th year senior. He also has great NIL money. TBA, you don't want to know how much he's making NIL. Hey, by the way, NIL, Don Williams' column today about the House settlement and why it doesn't need to go through if you're a Tech fan. Go check it out. We'll talk about it tomorrow on the daily broadcast, which will probably be a Diamond Talk daily broadcast at some point. You need to check it out. You don't want the House settlement to go through if you're a Texas Tech fan and you like what's going on with Cody Campbell, with NIL, and the Matador Club. Okay, just go read Don's deal. I didn't have time to put it out there tonight. The Wild West favors Texas Tech. 100%. Rated right, My Texas by Josh Abbott. Underrated, West Texas Rain by Wade Bowen. Is it really possible to have underrated stuff? Yeah, the whole thing, Wade Bowen is almost completely underrated, right? He really is. I mean, Wade Bowen is, we've seen him, West 84 and everything else over the years. The whole deal from Wade Bowen may be completely underrated. My Texas is pretty good. I think it's rated right. We went through an era of, I think, about 2000 2010 where everybody felt like they had to write a song about Texas because they were Texas artists. Lance jumping in on Facebook. Texas flood. It's flooding down in Texas. Stevie Ray Vaughan. Hopefully not this weekend. That would be awkward for everybody involved. We don't want to see that necessarily. The overrated, underrated, rated right. Songs about Texas. Best song. What constitutes a song about Texas? Big Balls in Cowtown. Not having anything to do with the Trump administration and Doge, but wouldn't that be interesting if Big Balls was in Cowtown? Yeah, you can go a lot of different ways on it. We threw it out there. If you want to go back and weigh in on it, you can go back to the website, theraiderland.com. Every day you can comment. It's not a message board. It's not a back and forth thing, but you can always get your comments in, all right? Another one, Jeff, Texas flood. Great Larry Davis, covered by Stevie Ray Vaughan. Yeah, but most people know it by Stevie Ray Vaughan. Actually, there is a, if you can find it, and I assume we can find everything on YouTube now, Willie Nelson does a version of Texas Flood, and I'm not sure when he did it. Probably in the 80s. I'm guessing. Probably in the 80s. Okay? See if you can find it. I've heard him do it a couple of different ways with the band, and then almost just a stripped down, just him and Trigger on the acoustic doing it. Really good. The Robert Earl Keen version of Amarillo Highway rocks so hard. Says Phil. It does. You know what's really interesting? For a generation, he puts that on number 2 Live Diner in 97. That there were a lot of people who didn't hear the original Terry Allen version. They didn't hear the Maines Brothers version in the 80s. And for a lot of people, Amarillo Highway was brought to them by Robert Earl Keen. Law Dog Sports out of Oak Klamaho. I watched the ACL doc on Amazon Prime. Not enough Joe Ely and hardly any REK. Hadn't seen it. You can't give me enough Joe Ely to make it happen. And here's to my man Joe. He's fighting a little bit of health stuff going on right now. Get your mind right. All right? Get your mind right. Right there. Original album, Joe Ely. Paul Milosevic, the artist on that cover, by the way. All right, we are hoping hoping that we'll be able to get Matt Grissom on. He's finishing up another interview right now, and we're hoping we can get him on tonight. If not, we will get him on at another time. It reminds me, as Jan jumps in, not sure what I saw last night. They needed to step up those that didn't, got to sit on the bench. Whatever, it's a win, we'll take it. Yeah, so it reminds me, doing radio and stuff back in the day. And the first summer me and Don Williams were on the Williams Tonight show, we had worked out a deal with CNN Sports, CNN, with Vince Cellini. And he was going to be on Thursday. And somebody called our producer and said, yeah, Vince can't be on tonight. He's going to be on tomorrow. All right. No Vince Cellini tonight. Vince Cellini will be with us tomorrow. So you have to do the promo for the next day show. Hey, we missed him last night. We can't wait to get him on tomorrow. Vince Cellini going to join in the Williams Tonight show on Friday. No Vince Cellini on Friday. Call back on Monday. Hey, he's going to be on Tuesday. Going to be on Tuesday. Just, things were crazy. We couldn't make it work out. All right. Monday promo coming up on Tuesday. Vince Cellini, CNN Sports, going to join us, talk about Major League Baseball and whatever else is going on that summer. It might have even been like World Cup or stuff like that. No Vince Cellini. No Vince Cellini on Tuesday. So they call back the producer Wednesday night during the show. The guy from CNN calls back the producer and says, hey, we're sorry. Vince Cellini, his schedule's crazy right now. He's going to be on Friday. So we do the promo. Coming up on Friday night on the Williams Tonight Show, Vince Cellini from CNN. Be sure and join us. No Vince Cellini on Friday. 33 years later, we're still waiting to interview Vince Cellini. Tonight, we are not waiting to interview Matt Grissom, though, from College Baseball Insiders, NCAA Insiders, and Points Unknown, hanging out probably somewhere in the hills of Arkansas. He joins us now. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. Just got off a show with Sam Pontianovich, chicken dinner. Got me a little bourbon drink here and ready to talk some college baseball.
Hey, happy baseball eve.
Hey, I am so excited for this. I know you've got to be too. Red Raiders, Tim Tadlock, y'all have always got a formidable team. Despite what the odds are tomorrow against North Carolina and Jason DeCaro, which I'm sure we'll talk about.
Yep. We'll get to that in a moment. I'm just glad you're here. I want to start off and talk about what you guys created over the last year or so there. NCAA Insiders, College Baseball Insiders in particular. You take a different angle on a lot of the traditional college baseball sites, whether it's, College Baseball America or our good friends down there at d1baseball.com and Kindle and those guys. I want you to explain to folks what you guys are doing there on the site before we get going down the rabbit hole on some top teams and everything else.
Yeah, so I was blessed to get a DM randomly one day from a guy named Nick Dimmitt, and he was like, hey, I really like y'all's stuff. Just wondered where you got your stats. And I said, I've always been a D1 subscriber. And he said, well, I think I could build a website if you want to do that. And I was like, well, sure. We don't make any money. We're not going to be able to pay you anything. But he was like, no, I want to do it. And this is going to be something fun for me and something we can grow with. So he built this website last year and using a model that I'd created, basically just taking the advanced stats of weighted runs created and a pitcher's Sierra, which is a skill interactive ERA. The mumbo jumbo, we don't have to get into like sabermetrics of baseball, but basically it was a winning formula to try to project runs. And if a typical game, you score 8 runs, you win. So we said which team races to 7.5 wins first. And then from there, we'd get a win probability. So we integrated that into the website in like a matchup projector. And it did really well. And it was just an awesome tool. It's absolutely free over at collegebaseballinsiders.com. Obviously, right now, because we don't have any 2025 stats yet, it's probably inaccurate. We've taken a little bit of weighted stats from last season mixed in with the transfer portal. But It's just an awesome tool. It's something that I like really geeked out over because I'm into all the advanced analytics and everything. It was how we projected that it would be Tennessee or Texas A&M that ultimately won it all. And lo and behold, fast forward to the championship series, they were the two final teams standing. So, I mean, we've got that to kind of hang our hat on, but we're excited for another year of it to see how successful it can be.
You couldn't have done this, I think, 10 or 15 years ago, because I think finding the stats, getting those amalgamated, it was hard to do. It was hard enough to create an RPI index 10 or 15 years ago. So is it one of those things that the timing was right? And I'll ask this too, how hard is it? Is it hard to get those numbers the way you want them from all the schools to come into play?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the hardest things to handicap is the reluctancy for starting pitchers to be announced. I think
Yeah.
that's really you've got to anchor your whole handicap around that, because you've got guys that can go 6 or 7 innings. That's a big part of the handicap, and you've got guys that may not be very good but have just 1 or 2 stellar innings that can like ruin a total. So the lack of information in this sport, it really is a blessing and a curse, because yes, we can usually beat the sports book to get the number, but also we're struggling still. We've got a big database of all the starting pitchers for this weekend, and it's only half full. So we've got games starting at 9 a.m. Central Time tomorrow, and again, we've got half of these matchups that we still don't know who's pitching. So
the market's still populating. I think, to borrow a phrase from our friend Gil Alexander there at VSiN, this may be one of the last few fluid marketplaces going up to first pitch.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
and you'll see volatility in numbers. I think Clemson opened -110. They shot up to -135 now. We're assuming their ace goes Aiden Canuck, who I actually think was announced. So it's all a race to the best number.
All right, let's go to real quick a little 35,000-foot view. This time of year, I try to look at college baseball and go, there are teams that I know are good. There's like 5 or 6 teams that I know are good. There's another 5 or 6 teams that I think are good, and then there's another 10 to 20 teams that might be good. As you guys have evaluated going in there, how do you evaluate maybe the top teams you think have the best chance to get to Omaha when this whole thing is done, starting now, and then we'll winnow it out from there? But who do you feel good about right now? Solid.
I think Virginia is really good. They've got a 1-2 punch in Evan Blanco and Jay Woolfolk. I think that's critical in any college baseball scenario. You've got to have at least 2 guys that can go out, get the ball on the mound, and get you a win. You've got the same thing with Texas A&M with Ryan Prager and Justin Lampkin. Prager was great last season. I think he's due for a little regression, because I don't think he's like Paul Skeens level where he's going to somehow accelerate his skill level. But he's solid. But like Texas A&M being number 1 preseason, it makes sense, right? You've got Jace Lavalette, you've got Wyatt Hensler, you've got a lineup full of studs, and it's real hard in this sport because it's super chalky. And so when we are talking futures and giving out plays, like you can't really go down 10 or 15 spots down the board and find somebody that's a long shot to win it all, because history has shown us it's usually the guys that are in the top 10 as far as shortest shots to win it all. So I like Texas A&M. I like Virginia. I'm down on Tennessee. I think their number being the shortest at +700 to win it all at DraftKings, I think that's kind of laughable, because you looked at last year, they lost to Evansville in game 2 of that super regional. Yes, they blew out Evansville in game 3. This was a team that just kind of got by.
Mm-hmm.
But the beautiful thing about college baseball is it's 27 outs. It is your game 3 starter having to step up in the biggest stage, get those outs. It's a guy getting a favorable call by maybe a check swing where they probably should have lost to Florida State in Omaha.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many things that have to go perfect for you to win it all. Tennessee was a great team last year. Were they deserving to win it? Absolutely. But to recreate that in this plus 700 shortest shot to win it all, come on. They lost way too much.
We got Matt Grissom on right now. Glad you guys are hanging out with us. A little overtime, a little green-white checkered finish tonight here as the Daytona 500 gets ready to go off this weekend along with college baseball. Got some questions fired away in the comments. We'll try to get them to Matt before we get out of here. All right, well, so we'll funnel it down just a little bit more. Big 12 this year. Fascinating conference to me. You get some new teams added in. The schedule is going to be very interesting on who plays whom and how that impacts it. But before we get to your thoughts on Texas and North Carolina, just an overall view of where you see the Big 12. And I'm not going to make you go, yeah, it's a 16 league or a 17 league or whatever. And I don't want to do that now. But who do you like and why do you like them?
I think you could really just roll the dice with any of the longer shots. Oklahoma State's plus 250. They're the shortest shot. TCU, it was announced today that they lost their Friday night guy, Ben Abelt. He's going to have to go Tommy Johns. That's unfortunate. I know Q and Nick with insiders, they're high on Arizona. I have to see it first. I think it's really hard for Arizona to step into the Big 12. Granted, it is down this year. West Virginia is not going to be as good, losing Derek Clark and J.J. Weatherholt. But you've got guys like Tim Tadlock at Texas Tech who seems to always be able to do enough. I think the winner of the Big 12 ultimately is just a few games above 500. So why not roll the dice and try to get like a Kansas at 18-1, Kansas State 20-1? Because I honestly, I think it could happen. Oklahoma State lost way too much in their pitching staff. They shouldn't be plus 250.
No. And you mentioned it. I like going with the long shots every year out of the Big 12 because every year, the last 3 or 4 years, somebody has finished in the top 3 that you just said, there's no way they're going to be in the mix. And they get a couple of breaks. And now with the scheduling, I think that's a big thing now. With the scheduling, how it's going to favor out. All right. So tomorrow we get started 11 o'clock Eastern, or pardon me, noon Eastern, 11 o'clock Central, Texas Tech, North Carolina. This is the first time Texas Tech has opened up on the road against a top 10 team since 1995 when they rolled out to Tempe and took on Arizona State out there. The weather is horrible, so they've compressed this series. I think it's probably only going to be 2 games. North Carolina, and I don't know how you view it, and me looking at it, they may have the best 1, 2, 3 returning rotation of anybody in the ACC, which means as good as anybody in the country. If you're Texas Tech, can you get a game tomorrow? What you know, I'm looking at your numbers, and it's like 20-80%, you know, but what can Texas Tech do that might be able to trouble North Carolina tomorrow if the weather's good and we play?
You take a page out of James Madison's book when they faced Arkansas, and it was so cold in Fayetteville, they hit Hagen Smith around. You've got to get after Jason DeCaro. They lost Jake Knapp, their presumable ace, before the season started. North Carolina did. Scott Forbes relied on a 17-year-old Jason DeCaro to wield that team to Omaha. And yeah, they didn't win it all, but for the pieces that they had and now what they have returning, it's only going to benefit North Carolina. Like you said, they've got a 3-headed monster in their rotation with DeCaro, Aiden Hall, and Fulger Boaz. And I think if they're going to win one, it may be game 2 against Aiden Hall. If they get to a game 3, maybe Fulger Boaz is still dealing with some injury. But I think Jason DeCaro, the biggest jump, Dave Van Horn always says, the biggest player's progression is from freshman to sophomore year.
Yeah.
If this kid could put his team on his back as a true freshman, I've got to believe that he's going to be outstanding for North Carolina this year.
You going to make it out to Vegas?
I think I'm going to be out there. Yeah,
We're working on
getting
it.
to see Texas, Texas Tech, Illinois. I can't remember who the fourth team is, but it should be a fun
Washington.
tournament.
Yeah. I'm like a NASCAR driver working on sponsorship for that right now.
There
If
you
somebody
go.
wants to put their name on the back of my deal and on the hood of the car, we're gonna be out there. Hey, I want you to tell them again because we're gonna have you on a lot. I hope during the season and everything else, and you guys tell them more about the site, how they can access it, what they're gonna find when they go there.
Go to collegebaseballinsiders.com. You'll be able to see everything from team stats to hitting stats, pitching stats, all the advanced analytics, all the nerd stuff. Sierra, XFIP, weighted runs created, OPS. That's all on there, absolutely free. So it's an awesome tool. Go check it out. We also implement starting rotations. So you'll be able to hover over the pitchers and see the starting pitching. And from there, the more stats that accumulate over the course of the season, the more accurate the projections are going to get. But it's an awesome tool, and hats off to Nick Dimmitt for putting it together.
It's beautiful stuff. You guys are amazing. Tell Smitty we said, hey, thanks for coming on. I know it's been a long day for you. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. We got it back. All right, man?
We got it back, baby. College baseball tomorrow morning.
Can't wait. All right. We'll see you soon. Thanks, Matt.
All right. Thanks, Ryan.
That's Matt Grissom. You can catch him on VSiN, online, a lot of different places. We want to thank everybody for hanging out with us tonight. We went a little overtime, but it was worth it because it's the start of the college baseball season. If you guys want to do something for us, you can share it with your friends on social media, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, or anything else. All right, before we get out here, I know we got a couple of comments stacking up. The over-under rated right songs about Texas. Let's see. What do we got here? Jimmy Kimmel stole Matt Damon's bit from Williams tonight. Yes, 100%. Gary P. Nunn, what I like about Texas, maybe the quintessential Texas song, which was written before everybody was writing Texas songs about Texas. New London. The New London Homesick Blues. Austin City Limits. Good song. Favorite Texas song. Bob Wills is still the king. Yeah, so I'm on a flight from Austin to Dallas via El Paso. Whoops. You guys are the best. We enjoyed the show. Tomorrow, Friday, most Texan thing you have done this week. Check it out on the website. Share this. Put it out there for your friends. Got to hit the end stream button, which means that hit end stream. If I hit this, now you hit this thing again, and it stops the broadcast or something. I don't know. I'm just a hired hand around here. Hope you enjoyed the show. Diamond Talk coming up this weekend, Texas Tech baseball. Hopefully we get a lot in.